What's up, everybody? We're back. It's 95X Cares, our community animal rescue effort brought to you by the Law Office of William Mattar. I am Dixon, joined as always by Jenny. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you today?
Good. Refreshed from vacation, back at it, and ready to go.
Diving right in. Well, I think that this is the perfect dog to dive in about for us.
Yeah, her name is Jane. She's an elderly dog. She's 11. She looks
Sure.
very, very sweet, but she is sadly terminally ill.
So Jane is hanging out at the Herkimer County Humane Society, and she unfortunately has an inoperable mass that they believe the cancer has spread throughout her body. So this is just a really crappy place for her to land, especially when this is the prognosis. Like we know that essentially we're looking for like a hospice kind of home. Either like a foster till the end, give her the best last days of her life, or somebody who's willing to adopt her for those days, and just really show her what love is like. Because unfortunately, I mean, she's 11 and she's landed herself in a shelter while she's terminally ill, and that's, I don't know, just heartbreaking. So if you don't have another dog, or even if you do, you can always reach out to them to see if they feel like Jane might be a good fit for the household that you have. But we're just looking for a house who's willing to just really spoil this dog because unfortunately, time is of the essence here because nobody's really sure how much time left Jane actually has, being that she's diagnosed with cancer. But whether it's a month, 1 year, a few weeks, whatever it is that you are able to offer, I think that she just deserves that spot to just go and be able to experience love in her final days.
Yeah, and some comfort as well, right? Because being in the linoleum floored, caged in kennel, the spot isn't necessarily how any of us kind of want to spend our last days. And she's
Right.
really just looking for someplace she can lay in the sun, maybe take a car ride. I know that in the information that I read that, she's got some bucket list things that she'd like to accomplish. And I feel like this would
It
be
does.
some great karma for some pet lover out there that'll truly appreciate spending the last days of Jane's life with her and allowing her to really live out the last remaining time she has in the most enjoyable way possible.
Absolutely. I think that, a lot of times, even when we're just talking about fostering, right? We always hear, well, it'd be too hard to let them go. Uh, my response to that is it's harder to know that especially dogs like Jane are spending their final days alone, cold, without that extra love and that comfort and experiencing that ever. So whether it is to jump into a hospice type situation or even just to foster and you know that the dog is going to get adopted to a great family, you are that stepping stone, and we are still very much so in a crisis here in central New York. There's been several different posts I'm sure that people have seen coming across their feed of dogs that we're calling the city and we're calling dog control and they're saying like we can't help you, but that's literally like that is their job, like that is what they're there for, but they don't have anywhere to bring these dogs because our shelters are that full. So it's people in different rescues. I know there was a dog recently that Recyclable had popped up and decided to swoop in and take this dog because there was nowhere to put her. So what do they need for help is they need fosters. They will take care of literally every single cost aside. Like the only thing that you pay for is food. Any like medical toys, etc. Like the rescue pays for those types of things. And so if you see this crisis and you have the ability to jump in or this extra space in your house for a dog, instead of saying like this really sucks, I wish somebody could do something, be that somebody. Be that somebody who jumps in and helps a dog like Jane or helps these dogs who are able to get them out of the shelter so that stray dogs have a place to go. We all can be a part of that solution, and I would just urge anybody who has that kind of calling or that feeling when you're upset seeing these things to reach out and have a conversation because the impact that you can make is huge.
Absolutely. And I speak for myself with this, and maybe I'm a little off base with this, but I feel like you've got to vet your inquiries to these pets, right? And do your due diligence and adopt the strays or the pets from the area. Because it seems like there's an awful lot of people that are bringing strays in from other places that are just compounding the problem locally. And I think that if we addressed the overpopulation of the dogs that are from the 315 area in the 315 shelters, that we might be able to fix the problem at least a little bit. But it does not help when there are organizations and individuals that are bringing in large amounts of
Right.
adoptable pets from other areas across the country.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if you are looking to adopt a pet, do us a favor, do your due diligence, and do your best to find a pet that's from the area.
Absolutely. I think, and I understand that, especially with more breed specific rescues like that they can address and help the crisis in other areas because maybe there's not tons of this one specific dog breed in our shelters. And we know that like our shelters are largely overrun by pitties and by pit mixes type dogs. And I think that because of that stigma that exists, it's difficult to address. But unless you've loved a pity or unless you have, taken the opportunity to become exposed and to go play and to learn about this breed, what you're going to find is a dog who's incredibly like loving and loyal and just fun and energetic. And I just encourage anybody to really, dive in or even just go walk the dogs, right? Expose yourself because you never know who it is that you're going to fall in love with. Dogs are incredibly unique. They all have their own personality despite their breeds. And yeah, I think addressing that issue right here in our backyard, we could become a staple where other communities look to like, okay, how do they do it? And I would love to see that as something that comes of all this. And I think that first step, like you said, is addressing what's going on right here in the 315 versus pulling dogs up from the south because it's a quicker turnover. Everywhere is in crisis, and I recognize that. And these are the reasons why we preach things like to spay and neuter your dogs, right? We're not just saying that because for no other reason than the fact that there really is a crisis that's happening. So reach out. We're happy to talk about it and happy to kind of get you started in your journey as you're helping out this community, or do us a favor and go snag Jane so that she can have that loving home and experience the true golden days of her life with somebody who really does love and care about her.
Absolutely. All the contact information for the Herkimer County Humane Society is on screen. So give them a call, drop them an email, inquire on Jane if you've got a little bit of room in your home, some love in your heart, and this will definitely deliver you some good karma in the end, in my opinion.
For sure.
Very cool. Well, Jenny, thank you so much for bringing Jane to our attention. We urge you to reach out to the Herkimer County Humane Society and let's give Jane the send off that she truly deserves. And we will pop back in next week with another edition of 95X Cares. Jenny, thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you then.
All brought to you by the Law Office of William Mattar for 95X. We'll see you next week.